So today we are going to learn about the periodic trends in the modern periodic table, right? Now, what are these periodic trends? Anybody knows what is the meaning of periodic trend? What exactly periodic trend stands for? Okay, Manjima, regularity. Okay, fine. What else? Anybody else? Only Manjima gave the answer. What is the meaning of periodic trends in the modern periodic table? So Manjima, you're correct. Regularity. Only one answer I got here. Variations in elements. Okay, Samiksha. Okay, Bhumi Tiwari has given the answer. Okay, fine. So many answers I'm started getting it. Okay, now listen. What happens when the properties of elements? Okay, properties I told you. Which are the two properties which we are studying? Chemical and physical property. So whenever physical or chemical properties of elements in a group or in a period, you know there are 7 periods and 18 groups. So whenever these properties in the groups or in the periods are compared, when we compare it, okay, so what we find, there is certain regularity is observed in the variations. Okay, so that type of regularity observed in their variations, that is called as periodic trends in the modern periodic table, right? So in this 10 standard, what we will consider? We will mainly consider 3 properties of the elements. And what are they? First is valency, which I have shown you in the screen, students. Which is the first one which we are going to learn? Valency. Then what else? Yes, atomic size. Correct. What else? Okay. So let me know what is the meaning of valency, students. What is valency according to you? Okay, metallic and non-metallic character. Okay, what is valency? I'm asking. Keep on typing the answers, students. I'm checking your answers because this regarding valency, we had it chapter in standard 9th also. I studied regarding it. Very good, Bhumi, very good. The number of electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom. Okay, so many have given this same answer. Okay, so what is valency exactly? Valency is nothing but the combining capacity of an atom. Okay, that is known as valency. Okay, combining capacity of an atom. One second, there's some problem with my screen. So once again, I'll explain the combining capacity of an atom. That means what? When an atom combines with another atom. Okay, that is how it combines, by forming bonds, either covalent bond or ionic bonds. Yes, you have studied about this in 9th standard. Do you remember? Yes. So the number of bonds, it can be single bond, it can be double bond. Yes. So the number of bonds, how many bonds are formed by an atom? Okay. So that much, the number of bonds that an atom can form as part of a compound, that is expressed how? By the valency. Now you all told me, no, valency means what? The number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Okay, so that is also valency. That means how many bonds will be formed? Depends on number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Okay, so depending, that is first periodic trend which we observe in the modern periodic table. Okay, then now the next is what? Atomic size. Okay, one second. Okay, atomic size. Okay, Now, what is this atomic size? Atomic size is the distance between the center of the nucleus of an atom and its outermost shell. Okay, so outermost shell, if there are two shells, so from the last shell till the center of the nucleus, that will be the atomic size. So in chemistry, basic chemistry, what is this atomic size? How it is defined? It is the shortest distance. Shortest distance between what? Between the atom's nuclei and the outermost shell. So now when we will take the atomic size, okay, so what we can say about this, that the size of the atom is indicated by its radius. You know what atomic radius? So atomic radius is nothing but distance between nucleus of an atom and its outermost shell. Okay, so atomic radius is having one unit, that is picometer. Note down, students, what is the unit of atomic radius? Picometer, PM. You can use the short form PM. Now PM is very small than nanometer, NM. Okay, so 1 PM is how many meters? 10 raised to minus 12 meters. So very small. We can measure this atomic radius in the unit called picometer. Okay, so when we will consider the modern periodic table, what you will find that the atomic radius will go on decreasing. Okay, I will show you the periodic table. 1 second. Okay, now here, students, you can look at this periodic table, modern periodic table. So when we will go from left to right, okay, left to right in a period, any period, maybe first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. There are 7 periods you can see, no, everyone. Okay, so any of the period, it will go from left to right, the atomic radius goes on decreasing. What happens to atomic radius? It will decrease. So potassium small, then calcium will have little big atomic radius. Okay, then strontium will have little big, like that. Atomic radius goes on decreasing. So atomic radius will decrease. Correct? So who is having the maximum atomic radius now? Potassium, then calcium, then strontium, like that way. So potassium is having maximum, then calcium, then scandium, then titanium, vanadium, chromium, like that way. Okay. So remember this, atomic radius goes on decreasing while going from left to the right within a period. If you will take example of sodium, magnesium, sodium is having maximum atomic radius compared to magnesium, then aluminum, then silicon, then phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, in this way. So while going from left to right within a period, what happens to atomic number? Atomic number is increasing. You can see in the screen. Okay, atomic number is marked by which color, students? Tell me, which is the atomic number? What is the atomic number of potassium? Give the answers in the chat box. What is the atomic number of potassium? 19. Very good, Aryan. Very good, Manjima. Okay, 19 you are saying. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, so you all told me 19 is the atomic number of potassium, correct? So when you when you will look at calcium, it has increased plus 1, that is 20. Then scandium is having atomic number 21. That means what? What is the meaning of that? the positive charge on the nucleus increases by 1 unit at a time. Correct? So atomic number increases 1 by 1. Yes, from left to right, if you'll observe, atomic number increases 1 at a time. Correct? So additional electron gets added to the same outermost shell. What happens? Additional electron gets added to the same outermost shell. So due to the increased nuclear charge, what happens to the electrons? Electrons are pulled towards the nucleus. There are electrons, no, they get attracted towards the nucleus to greater extent. So what will happen to the size of the atom, students? What will happen when these electrons are attracted towards the nucleus? Size will increase or decrease? Very good, Bhumi, decrease. The size of the atom decreases. That's the reason why the atomic size decreases when we will go from left to right. This can come as in the form of give reason. Okay. So why the atomic size decreases when you will go from left to right within a period? What you will write? Once again, listen carefully, students. What reason you will give? Atomic number increases 1 by 1. That means what? Positive charge on the nucleus increases. Okay. How much it increases? 1 at a time, 1 unit at a time. Correct. So when the positive charge is increasing, additional electrons which is getting added, no, that will go to the same outermost shell. Correct? So that time what happens? Due to increased nuclear charge, the electrons, where they are going, they are attracted towards the nucleus. Okay. And that's why the size of the atom decreases. I hope everyone understood why the size of the atom decreases from left to right. Okay. So that's the in this way you should be able to explain it. Okay. Okay, give the answers in the chat box, students. What is atomic size? What is mean by atomic size of an element? How you can define the atomic size? Everyone has to type the answers in the chat box. Now here you can see there are metallic elements as well as non-metallic elements in the periodic table. Can you tell me where the metallic elements are placed? But which side of the periodic table, students? How many of you have read the textbook? Yes, very good. Yes. Okay, good answers. Metals where they are placed? Metals like sodium, magnesium, they are towards the left side. Very good. And non-metals like sulfur, chlorine, they all are towards the right side. Very good. Okay, fine. Okay, so now here the metalloid. Okay, there are also metalloids, right? Metalloids are placed between them, like silicon. It lies in between these metals and non-metals. Yes? Okay, good, good. Okay, so all are answering good. So a similar pattern is also observed in the other periods also. In every period you can see this way. Okay, metals towards the left, non-metals towards the right. Okay, how it is also periodic trend. Now, how it affects the placement of these elements? So that you can see a zigzag line also that separates metals and non-metals. Correct? So elements, how they appear? They are arranged in such a way that metals towards the left side of the zigzag line and non-metals towards the right side of the zigzag line. Correct? And metalloids are where? Towards the border of this line. So how this happens? Okay, how such arrangement took place. So let us study about that. So let us compare the characteristics. Okay, which characteristics we are going to compare? The properties. Yes, chemical properties as well as physical properties. Now, it is seen from the chemical formula. Okay, some of the chemical formulas, if you'll write, like if you'll write the formula of any ionic compound, what you will write? Both cation as well as anion. Correct? Cation in them is formed from a metal, while anion is formed from a non-metal. Correct? Cation is a positive ion, anion is a negative ion. Correct? Na plus Cl minus. So Na is a metal, Cl is a non-metal. Salt. In salt, we can say sodium is a metal, okay, and chlorine is a non-metal. So what is Na plus Cl minus? Plus and minus is stands for what? Ions. Cation means what? Positive sign you have to write, and negative sign for the anions. Okay. So from this, what we can understand, metals are having the tendency to form a cation. And how they're forming this cation? By losing the electrons. You know, they will lose the electrons, valence electron. And this property is called as electropositivity. What we call this property of losing the electrons? Electropositivity. Okay. And what these non-metals are doing? They are having the tendency to accept the electrons. Now, metals, they will lose the electrons. And where those electrons will go? Who is gaining the electrons? Says Manjima, right? Gaining the electrons, non-metals. Non-metals will accept the electron. Sodium will lose the electron and chlorine will gain the electron. Correct? So the tendency of any atom to accept the electron from outside, okay, that is electronegativity. That's why they are getting negative sign. One ion element is getting positive sign, the other element is getting negative sign. Okay. So this you have studied earlier also. You know how the atoms will lose or the electron, and how some atoms are accepting the electrons. So all these electrons, no, all the electrons in the atom, how they are held? They are having held by the nucleus. How this nucleus is having is what you can say, nucleus will apply some attractive force. Okay, nucleus is exerting some force, and that's why these electrons are properly placed in the orbits. Correct? So electrons in the inner shell lies in between this valence shell and the nucleus. So because of the presence, what happens? Nuclear charge exerting an attractive force on the valence electrons. Correct? So that is about some information regarding how the ions are formed and how this nucleus is exerting attractive force. Okay. So now number of valence electrons in metals, you know, it is small, very small. Okay. It can be 1, 2 or max to max 3 electrons. So nuclear charge exerting attractive force on the valence electrons is very, very small. That's why combined effect of two factors we have to consider. Metals have the tendency to lose the valence electrons to form cations. So they will have a stable noble gas configuration. And this tendency, what we call it as electropositivity. Okay. Now let us study about metallic character of the element. Right. Now the periodic trend in the metallic character, how it is understood, how their position is in the periodic table. So for that, we will go back to the periodic table. First, let us see what is meant by metallic character. It refers to level of reactivity of metal, how reactive the metal is. And non-metallic character means what? Tendency to accept the electrons during any chemical reaction. So metallic tendency will increase going down a group. So whenever we will go down a group, what happens? The metallic character will increase. Okay. When non-metallic tendency increases going from left to right. So from left to right, what happens? Non-metallic character will increase. Okay. So this way it is. So when you will observe in the periodic table, okay, you all are having periodic table in front of you. So just check how it is. So metallic tendency increases going down a group. Now let us consider the group number 1. Okay, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium. Okay, then cesium and francium. Now here, hydrogen is having maximum, yes, alkali group. Correct, Bhumi? Alkali group. They are called alkali groups. Okay, now in alkali metals. Okay, so here, what happens? The metallic tendency increases going down a group. It keeps on increasing. Okay, maximum metallic tendency who is having francium, and the lowest hydrogen. Understood? Now consider the alkaline earth metals. That is the second one. Second group. What is that alkaline earth metal group? That is beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So here also, what happens when you will go from top to bottom? Okay, metallic tendency keeps on increasing down a group. So beryllium is having least metallic character, whereas radium is having maximum. So this happens for every group. Okay, in every group the same thing happens. Now let us consider non-metallic tendency. Non-metallic tendency in the third period. Which is the third period, students? Third period carries which all elements? Yes, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, etc. Correct. Very good. Okay, now when we will take this example, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, and argon. Okay, so now these elements, if you will take, what you can find that when you're going from left to right, okay, the metallic character increases. Okay, sodium is having minimum, magnesium little more, then aluminum is having little more metallic character, silicon is having more, like that way keeps on increasing. Okay, from left to right. I hope you all understood how the metallic and non-metallic character, okay, is one of the periodic trend in this modern periodic table. So we have studied three trends today, students. Valency, then we studied about atomic size, and then now we are studying about the metallic and non-metallic character. So once again, I will explain this part once again. So metallic character of an atom is nothing but tendency to lose electrons. Okay. So here the metallic character of elements, what happens? It increases while going down the group, and while going from left to right in a period, what happens? The outermost shell remains same, right? You know, the atomic size is not increasing. So outermost shell is same. So now here what happens? The positive charge on the nucleus goes on increasing, and atomic radius is decreasing because size is not increasing. No, so atomic radius is constant and decreases slowly. And thus, what happens to the charge on the nucleus? It will increase. It keeps on increasing. As a result, the tendency of atom to lose the electrons, okay, lose the electrons will decrease. Okay, within a period, it decreases from left to right. So two factors are there that is affecting mainly increasing nuclear charge and decreasing atomic radius. Okay, as we move from left to right within a period. So these two factors are responsible for increasing effective nuclear charge. Correct? So therefore, the valence electrons are held how? With greater and greater attractive force. You know what is that property called? Valence electrons are held with greater and greater attractive force. So what we call that as electropositivity or electronegativity. Yes, students? Give the answers in the chat box. Very good, Manjima. It is called electronegativity of an atom. So when the electronegativity is increasing from left to right, what happens to that ability of atom? It will become anion. How it becomes anion? It accepts electrons. Yes, it keeps on accepting outside electrons. So the tendency of an element to form anion or the electronegativity is the non-metallic character of an element. I hope this much is clear to you all. Okay, I explained 2-3 times, students. So this concept of metallic, non-metallic character is very much clear, right? Now what you have to do, you have to read 2-3 times the book and then note down the main points over here. Okay. Now the last one is gradation in halogen family. Okay, now let us move to the halogen family. I will show you in the screen. 1 second. Okay. So students, which group is having halogen family? Can you name the group number? Yes, very good, Bhumi. It is 17 group. Very good, Chetan. Correct. Yes, Aditya. 17th group. Can you see the 17th group? Yes. Okay. Okay, fine. So the group 17, they contain the members of the halogen family. Now here, what is the general formula we have to write? X2. X stands for halogen. Either it can be fluorine, so you can write F2. If it is chlorine, you can write Cl2. Bromine, Br2. Okay, iodine, I2. In that way, mostly we generally we take these first four halogens. Okay, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Others are also there, that is astatine and tennessine. Okay, so these halogens are mostly not taken. They are not much reactive. So, but other remaining upper one, that four. Okay, so all of them, what they are having the general formula, students? Type in the chat box. Just now I told you. This is general formula of this halogens. X2. Very good, Akansha. That is X2. X stands for halogens and 2. Okay, so 2 you have to write there. So gradation is observed in their physical state down the group. Okay, what is the physical state? Physical state means what? Solid, liquid, and gaseous. So you can find that fluorine and chlorine, they are in which state? They are gases. Very good. That's why it is marked with red color. Red color, F and Cl is written in red color, right? So that means what? They are in gaseous state. Okay. Now what about bromine? Bromine is in which state, students? Give the answers. Very good, Aryan, Ankita, Revati. Okay. They all are in, all the students, they have given the answer as liquid. Very good. So bromine is only liquid, right? It is in the liquid state. It's a brown color liquid, right? And then iodine. Next is iodine. Iodine is in which state? Solid state. Okay. Iodine, and the next one is in solid state. That's why it is shown in black color. Bromine in blue color. So whatever blue colored names are there, no, they all are in gaseous, sorry, liquid state. Okay. Last week also I told you regarding this. I given some information. Now we are going, we are studying in depth. Now here, that is the gradation in the halogen family. Okay, that means there are solids, liquids, and gases. Okay, so group 17 contains what? The members of the halogen family, and all of them are having the general formula what? X2. So what gradation you can find? Gradation in the physical state. What you will write? Gradation in the physical state. What is the gradation shown? Yes, gradation is observed in the physical state down the group. And you will go from top to bottom in the group 17. What you find there? That fluorine and chlorine is in gaseous state, bromine is in liquid state, and iodine is in solid state. Okay, so questions can come. Which halogen is found only in gaseous state? Given the names. So you can write fluorine and chlorine. Which halogen is in liquid state? Yes, bromine. Okay, and which is the halogen in solid state? Iodine. Okay, so this way you can prepare. Objective type questions can come like that. So that is what we studied today, students. Okay, I think the lesson was very much clear to you. We took uh, we have completed each and every part of this chapter. Okay, now we will have some, I will discuss some questions with you. Okay, so